Hello, my name is Sean, or aka Anarchy, and this is Moon, the Complete Strategy Guide. This is something I've been aspiring to do for quite a long time now, and I really hope that it lives up to all of your expectations. Everyone who helped me get gameplay has worked really hard to make sure all the bases were covered with this guide. My goal was to create a comprehensive guide that covers everything that you need to know about the Zombies map Moon, and I think we've been successful. In a moment, I'll take you to the main menu where you'll be able to navigate through the entire guide and select whatever you want using the annotations you see on the screen. If at any moment you want to come back to this main menu, there'll be an annotation in the bottom right hand corner of the screen that says main menu. Just click that and it'll be brought right back here. We've tried to cover everything from how to turn on the music, how to get the achievements, what the new weapons are, where the perks are, and a variety of strategies have been included in the guide. If you see anything that you thought could have been done better, or that we could add, be sure to let us know in the comments and we'll try to fix it or add it as soon as possible. If you liked the video, please leave a rating, comment telling us so, and be sure to subscribe if you really liked the video. Thanks guys, and enjoy. This is how to turn on the music in the map Moon. This is a very simple Easter egg. You're looking for teddy bears with space helmets on them scattered throughout the map. There's 3 of them. So starting from the spawn area up top, you go over to this little pile of crates and press X on the first teddy bear, which is right there. Then go to the left through the MPL room and the M16 maze, or tunnel 6 I guess. And it will be right in this last airlock on the right. In the little grid is the second teddy bear. Hold X and there you go. Now I'll loop back around. You can just go straight through the power room. That's a lot faster, but we didn't have that last door open. We just had the maze open. I don't know why, and I don't think we felt like spending the money on this. So we loop back around, go back through tunnel 11 through the PM63 area, and it'll be right here in the second room behind the plate. Turn it on by holding X, and there you go. Music starts. In this section I'll be covering perks, where they are, what they cost, do you need them, and what they do. The first perk is Quick Revive. It's in the initial spawn area. It costs 1500 and it's usually not worth it. It depends on how good you are at zombies. If you are a fairly competent zombies player, you really don't need it, and you should save that perk slot for something like PhD floppers, which is actually a lot more effective than you think. I rarely use it just because most of the people I play with are competent enough that you don't really need to be revived. Plus, if you have to be revived when you have Juggernaut, that's pretty much that's going to be it for you for a while. So by the time you have like the teleporter is hooked up, so it is Juggernaut when you finally teleport, you'll be back up in no time, and it really won't be much of an issue. Next perk is Stamina Up. It's in the little PM63 room by the Semtex. It makes you run faster. It's not necessary. It's a waste of 2,000 points. Most areas, by the time you're on high rounds, will have low gravity anyway, which means the zombies will be slower and you will be faster, and it's much easier to dodge the zombies. You do not need Stamina Up at all for any reason ever. Next perk is through the power room and the laboratory. Is double tap at the bottom of the laboratory. It means you shoot faster with semi-autos and automatics. If you have autos, automatic weapons, and even a ray gun, it's really not worth it. It's not a substitute for stopping power. It just means you waste more ammo. Even though you do kill zombies faster, you're losing your ammo faster, and it generally means you're going to be less accurate. More of your bullets will be missing. Next perk is upstairs in the laboratory. It's Deadshot Daiquiri. It's 1500 points. Also a waste of money. Generally, the ray gun and the wave gun and weapons with high splash damage are the best things that you can use, just because in low gravity situations they're much more effective. So Deadshot Daiquiri is not necessary for weapons like the ray gun, and plus there are 4 ray guns on this map. You can get, all 4 players can get a ray gun, so it's not really necessary. Next perk is PhD Flopper. It costs 2,000. It's right here in the biodome. This is definitely, it's not entirely necessary, but I'd say it's worth it. Like I said, a ray gun is a common weapon, and you'll probably end up with a ray gun by round 20 or 15 or so. and that will prevent all ray gun splash damage. Plus, if you still have gravity on and the excavator hasn't penetrated the dome, then it prevents fall damage too. Plus, flopping, although there's not many spots you can do it, it's useful in a pinch. There's one little elevated staircase where you can flop off of right to my right now, and it's semi worth it. I had one teammate who did it a lot and who was fairly successful in that game. Next perk is outside. It's the Mule Kick. It's the 3-weapon perk. It costs 4,000, and this is essential, especially by about round 15. Alright, and maybe it's not entirely essential, but it is really, really useful, and it takes away a lot of the ammo problems that you will have before round 20 or maybe even 25, depending on how good you are and how accurate you are. I would say get Juggernaut and Sleight of Hand before you get Mule Kick, just because you won't be able to YY or tap Y to stop reloading animations early. So it's much more difficult to do that. That's all I'm saying. And so Mule Kick Sleight of Hand is helpful to make sure that you don't have to run into those problems because you can't YY. Last two perks are in the very, very first spawn area, which is Hangar 18, where you start the game. So you go into the teleporter, which we'll do in a second, and the perk that is right to the right on the little stand you start on, it will rotate between Juggernaut and Sleight of Hand, depending on, it rotates back and forth. So the first time, if you start with Sleight of Hand, the next time you teleport back, it will be Juggernaut. The next time, it'll be Sleight of Hand. Juggernaut is 2,500 and Sleight of Hand is 3,000, and both of them, I would say, are... if you have the money, I would buy Sleight of Hand, definitely. It's not essential, but it's useful, especially if you're going to use Mule Kick. Speed Cola makes you reload faster, so I just say Sleight of Hand because I'm used to it online. Juggernaut is absolutely essential after round 10, especially if you're looping. I would say get it every game. It's there's no reason really not to. It takes a while just to get enough to get into the teleporter and get the biodome open, but it's definitely worth it. And it's not impossible to survive without Juggernaut, but I would still say save up the money and get it and make that your objective by round 8 or 9. So one of the things I hear a lot is that people don't know where the Bowie knife is, so I'm going to show you that right now. So starting from the power room, you go up the stairs through the laboratory, and it will be up on the wall on the second floor, and I'll show you where it is in just a second when I get there. But you have one important thing: you have to have lost compression in the laboratory for you to get the Bowie knife. And so basically up on this platform is right there on the wall. You run, jump straight at it, look up, and you'll see the letters momentarily. Tried a few different things to see if you could actually get on the same level with it, but what you have to do is you just have to hold X as you pass it. I didn't actually go for it here because we were about to go and pack a punch a weapon. I didn't have enough to pack a punch and buy the Bowie knife, and really I haven't been doing a lot of knifing. But if you wish to get the Bowie knife, lose compression in the laboratory, jump at it, and hold X or tap X when the letters appear. There you go. So in this section, I'll be talking about everything you need to know about how to turn on the power, when to, and where to. So basically, after you leave Hangar 18, you should be in this spawn area right here. Just a note about Hangar 18, I'm going to explain more in my basics guide, which will be linked on the main menu. But you should stay there just basically until you have about 1,000 to 2,000 points. When right away when you spawn, you should start knifing the zombies and go looking around on the sides for any zombies that are walking towards the edge. And you can shoot them, just shoot them, and don't wait till they get close enough to knife you, because really you're going to end up not having as many opportunities to kill them when they get faster. So you actually get more points by shooting them when you're at Hangar 18. When the next couple rounds start, right here, knife and shoot. First round, put 5 shots into them and knife them. Second round, you can put a clip in and then knife them. It really doesn't matter how many shots exactly you put in, but I'll explain more on the basics guide, as I've said. So yeah, first, second, third, and fourth rounds, knife and shoot. Let the zombies in to get power-ups, and that's basically the strategy for the first couple rounds, the initial rounds. I'm gonna skip ahead here just to save some time. And now we're on round 5, and we're going now at the beginning of round 5. And we're going to go through Tunnel 6 just because it has the MPL and the M16, which are the better wall guns for the initial rounds. But what I would suggest is actually not even bothering to get any of those wall guns. Go straight into the power room and grab the stakeout, which is right on the wall right next to me. And there's the switch. Hit the power right away, and there you go. You can hear it, the announcer turning on the power now. I didn't hit it, one of my friends hit it. Grab a stakeout and you're good to go. I haven't really heard many good reasons why you should wait to turn on the power. We usually just turn it on as soon as we get there. The only reason I can think to wait would be to get the Bowie knife, because you can only get it off the wall in the laboratory when there's low gravity. So when the power is still off or when you've lost compression. And losing compression is kind of risky, just because it'll be a lot harder to hack stuff in there. Otherwise, if you have a good reason why we should leave the power off for the first couple rounds or indefinitely, let us know in the comments, and I might add it to the guide if I think it's worth it. Just to reiterate something, my opinion is not the only valid one. If you know a reason to wait to turn on the power, if you have a good reason, comment it below. I will probably see it, and if it's a good reason, I'll consider adding it to the guide. Also, you don't have to wait until round 5. You don't have to buy the stakeout. Those strategies are just what I feel works best for the early rounds. You know, you could go at round 4 or round 3 whenever you have enough points to go through all of the doors to get to the power room right away. I don't suggest waiting in one of the rooms to build up points. You could do that just as easily in the power room, where you might have access to the box and you have access to a stakeout. In this section, I'm going to cover 2 good looping strategies, and I'm going to start first with how to loop. So the 4 things you really need to know: 1, never stop moving; 2, always try to look ahead of you, not behind; and if you have to shoot around, this is 3, wait until most of the zombies have spawned until you try to shoot them. If you're playing with a group of people, don't cross paths with other players. Stay out of the way of their zombies and keep your zombies away from them. No one likes it when they have to run into a rape train of zombies and it gets one of you downed, and in turn it gets the whole team downed. So I'm going to go back now and cover them a bit more in depth. Never stop moving is probably the most important. You've always got to keep moving, keep dodging away from the zombies, and you can never sit still in one place, because that's the easiest way to get surrounded. Looking ahead is important, because the zombies behind you, you can walk away from. Literally, if you just push the move stick all the way forward and don't sprint, you can stay ahead of all the zombies behind you. So looking ahead is important, so you can dodge around all the zombies. And 3, try to wait till most of them have spawned, because then when you want to turn around and shoot them, you don't have to worry about ones coming up from behind you. So first I'm going to demonstrate the dome loop. This is one of my favorite loops that I prefer to use. This is me doing it on solo with just Juggernaut. You can do it without Juggernaut, with or without. You don't have to have the wave gun. You can have whatever gun. But this is the strategy that I like to use. You can find this little figure 8 pattern here, and you can go in a small circle around it, or you can go around the one right to my right now, or to the left in this case, around the stairs. You can go around there. You can go in a big figure 8. You can go in a big oval. However you want to do it, just keep moving in a circle, and look how I just dodged through those zombies. I'm staying forward. I just made a quick dodge out of the way of the zombie because I saw that there was one on the stairs and one directly left of me, so I made what I thought to be the safer choice. See how I can just easily walk away from the zombies, and none of them are even close to running into me. And all the zombies that are now spawned under the map are all behind me. I don't have to worry about them, and I can keep my eyes generally forward, so something like that doesn't happen. Where if you do happen to get unlucky and it comes right between you and a rock, then you don't have anywhere to go. This is a similar strategy. This I'm just pointing out right now. It works on whatever round. This is me doing it on 35. I think in this game I got to 39 using this looping strategy. If you just continue doing this, the trick to this strategy in particular, which I'll explain later, is hacking power-ups to get more max ammo. But just looping in general works on whatever round. You don't have to be super fast. The zombies never increase in speed beyond like round 12. They never get any faster, so you can always outrun them. You can always dodge them. The trick on later rounds is having the weapons and the tools to kill them. In this next segment, I'm going to show you basically the easiest way that I found to get points, especially when playing on a high round. All you have to use is an automatic weapon if you have 2 power weapons. You want to, even though the wave gun is the most effective way of killing all the zombies, in my opinion, it doesn't get you any points. It only gives you 100 points no matter how many zombies you shoot. So if you just get an automatic weapon as your 3rd weapon and just kind of spray fire it casually into them, it's a really easy way to build up points. With an RPK, pack-a-punched or unpack-a-punched, firing a whole clip, usually about 2,000 points. You're not going to really need the RPK ammo anyway, just because you're going to use your wave gun or your ray gun to wipe out the majority of the zombies. The RPK is just for points. The second area you could loop in is this outdoor area right here. It's a lot easier if you leave the door from the lab outside right there, if you leave that door closed, but either way it can be done. It's just a bit more confined if you leave that door open because you have more zombies coming from different sides. The important thing about this loop outside is to try not to jump too much. Use your sprint as sparingly as you can. I mean, always get out of the way of the zombies, never stop moving, all that jazz. But what jumping does is it keeps you moving through the air farther than you might expect, and a lot of times if you jump out of the way of the zombies while your back is kind of turned, you jump to the side to sidestep a zombie, when you jump you'll end up back straight into another zombie. So you want to keep your feet on the ground, because while these zombies will continue moving through the air, you don't want to continue moving through the air. Just keep that in mind, and of course keep the first tips that I presented to you. Keep those close at hand too. Don't stop moving. Try not to turn around too often. Wait until a lot of the zombies have spawned. On a 4-player situation like I'm in right now, you might not be able to wait very long, but just do what you can. Just try not to turn around and shoot them too often while they're in the heat of their spawning. That's all I'm trying to say. Next, I'm going to go over the best camping strategies on the map Moon. There aren't a lot of them, and these strategies aren't really strict camping, where you have one person at the window and 2 people on the door, but there are some decent strategies that you can use. The first one is loop camping in the power room. You have one person and a backup on each door, pretty much. There's 2 main doors into the biodome, so you have one person where I am on this door, try to watch those zombies. The other person to your left or right just watches the zombies that spawn on the ground and just kind of call out and watch your back, but you should still check your back. It's not really strict camping. It's a bit more difficult. It's more just about watching each other's back and sticking in groups as opposed to just looping on your own. The other player, of course, would be over on the other door by the biodome, over where you saw Ryler's green name just appear, and the backup players around there, of course, as usual. You can do your own little mini circles to try and avoid the zombies if you can, but it's not as much of a strict camping strategy as it is just a strategy that uses a bit more teamwork than looping does. I don't know, camping, there are not many very good places to camp. They focused a bit more on looping, and I would actually say that looping is the best way to play this map. But if you found a great camping spot, remember to leave it in the comments and I might add it to the guide. Just do whatever you have to win, and I'm not telling you should play the game this way. I'm just telling you that for me, looping works better than camping, and I haven't found many good camping spots. So over here is where Ryler, or the other player, sits and watches the door. There's that door right here, and there's a couple zombies that do spawn out of the dirt right where I'm standing right now, but it's not really too hard for the second player to kind of to camp or watch his back. If you don't want to be this strict, you could just kind of divide up the biodome into 4 quadrants and have everyone check their back. Where you saw Rickroll just doing the flopping off of the little staircase, that's a kind of a decent strategy if you're for that little area for the zombies that spawn in the dirt, and plus you can kind of do a mini loop of your own. But just try to keep one or 2 people on the door, and that'll work pretty well for you. If you don't like the biodome, there is camping outside that is kind of an option for you. I haven't really tried it much myself. A couple of friends tried and said it was kind of a decent strategy. Leave the laboratory door that I'm showing you right now, leave that closed. It's easier if you could just have most of your teammates kind of back up in that area, and you have one person who's just kind of watching the dirt and watching people's backs. The other 3 people can just be facing forwards. I suppose if you really wanted to go hardcore camping, you could just camp in the laboratory. I think on the first level of the laboratory, there's only 2 doors and 1 window. So if you had one person on the window and you just had one person back up and one person per entranceway, not necessarily a door, that might work for you as well. Try it out, leave a comment, and let me know if it works. Next, I'm going to talk all about hacking, starting with the location of the hacker. It's in the laboratory on any of the desks that you see right here. It'll be sitting on one of the pieces of paper that you see right here in the laboratory. Just look through for all those desks. First thing you can do with the hacker, for 500 points, you can basically share points. So say someone needs to hit the box, all you have to do is hold X on them. It takes a bit of time, but after a while you will share 500 points. So for anyone who ever has like 20,000 points and someone is low low and needs to buy a perk, you can share points. You can also hack weapons on the wall for 3,000 each. It'll turn the weapon upside down. It'll make it really cheap, something like 160 to pack a punch. It'll make the ammo for upgraded weapons only 600 and regular ammo 4,500, so it reverses the cost. It's very useful on the best wall weapons. The main purpose of the hackers is to stop the excavators from breaking into the dome. There's a guide on how to stop them more quickly and more in depth on the main menu. You can also hack doors. It's a very quick process, and it actually gets you a lot more points than you normally would. Say there's only one board missing, you can hack it and get 100 points versus just 10. You always get 100 points for hacking a barrier. Next is hacking the pack-a-punch machine. Just make sure that when you go out to the teleporter, all your teammates are already there, and you go straight to the teleporter, because you do have a limited supply of air because you don't have a helmet. When you spawn, go straight out to the pack-a-punch, hack it, and you get a 1,000 point bonus. And this cage right here will close around you, allowing you and your teammates, or just you in this case, to pack-a-punch however many weapons you need to without having to worry about killing zombies or the zombies overrunning you. I would say it's actually easier to just pack-a-punch one gun per trip that you take out here, because it's actually difficult to get out of this cage. You can't shoot out through it with a ray gun or a wave gun, and so basically if you're on your own or with a big group, the easiest thing to do is just throw a Gersh and have it ready right off the spawn. Otherwise, you will die. You need to have a strategy to get out. I would suggest just doing one pack-a-punch weapon per time that you teleport. Just don't, it's not worth the risk, really. You can also use the hacker to hack doors. It's a very long process, but it only costs 200 points. So in between rounds, once you have a crawler, hack all the doors that you can once you get the hacker. Hopefully, if it's on the first level of the laboratory, you can save probably like 2,000-3,000 points just by opening all the doors with hacking instead of wasting your money. It takes a bit of extra time, but it is definitely worth the points. This door cost 1,000, and because hacking a door is only 200, I saved 800 points, which is nearly a whole box hit. Next important thing about hacking is you can hack power-ups. You can hack power-ups by just going up to them very slowly and make sure you don't actually accidentally run into them, and just hold X as you approach. You can hack it, and everything but a max ammo will turn into a max ammo. A max ammo will actually just become something random. Just be careful not to go into the power-up if you're tight on ammo, because, you know, that might cost you your life. It's the most useful thing you can use the hacker for. It's only 5,000 points, and it makes higher rounds infinitely easier. Finally, you can hack the box. If you go to a box location, like in the dome, say it's a teddy bear, it's not the box, you can hack that location only once and get a free try with the box for like 1,200 points. So if you're in a tight situation, you can hit the box. The other thing you can do is, once you buy a weapon for 950, whatever comes out, you can hack it for 600, and it'll regenerate the weapon and bring it up. And if you hack that weapon, it becomes available for any of your teammates to pick up. This is definitely my favorite part of this guide. This is, without a doubt, the easiest strategy that I have found to this date. I love using this strategy, and hopefully after perfecting it yourself, you should love it too. Best way, if you want to just get straight to high rounds and do it with next to no ease, is to loop by yourself on solo. Once you get into a steady rhythm, you can basically, you just have to move in this circle continuously, let all the zombies build up, and use your wave gun and switch between the wave gun and the ray gun and whatever guns you need to use. Now, you may say that on 35, oh, well, the zombies take like 5 ray gun hits, even if you're super accurate. So, you know, there's, how am I going to be without ammo? The magic of the hacker. You can hack any power-up that you come across on the later rounds and get a max ammo from it. Every power-up except a max ammo will turn into a max ammo, and a max ammo is already a max ammo, so you don't have to do anything. It's only 5,000 points, so if you need to get up points right away, just use your RPK. You don't even have to pack-a-punch it, because on the later rounds like this, you're not really going to bother, you know, you're not going to kill those zombies with the RPK, so it's basically just a point device. The first time I got a power-up in this round, I messed up, so just be sure that you don't get too close to it, because in a tight squeeze, that could be end of the round for you if you have no ammo. So I got it again, I got lucky, hacked it. It's a bit slower than that for 5,000 points, and right away I have a max ammo and I'm ready to start looping again. I actually got lucky when I was doing this because I glitched out the spaceman. I killed him directly between the rounds and he didn't respawn again. I don't know if that's a solo thing or not. I haven't looked too far into it. Just try killing the spaceman in between rounds. See if it works out for you, see if he goes away. But if he is here, you know, you really don't have to worry about him. You can just switch back and forth between looping inside and outside check the looping part of the main menu for information on that. Just switch back and forth, or switch back and forth between the looping circles in the dome. There's basically, even if you do this loop alone, the spaceman will stay on the very inside of the loop. So just take a bit wider of a circle, and you should be fine either way. Even if the spaceman's there, it's still the best strategy they have found to date. Getting Juggernaut right away is actually really easy, and it's probably the best way to assist yourself on solo, especially in the early rounds. You can also do it on 2-player. I wouldn't recommend trying it on 4-player. Probably won't work out. Basically, restart until you get Juggernaut right off the bat, and have a good opening round. Basically, when you first spawn, run around and knife as many of the zombies as possible. You have a decent amount of time to do this, but if not a lot of zombies are spawning in the middle of the map and they're all on the edge, you might want to wait and try to restart again and go for more points early on. Then, basically, once the second buzzer goes off and they go into fast mode zombies, you just start looping in this generic circle that I found right here. It's actually more difficult than you'd think. It's not too easy. You just got to make sure that you keep the zombies all directly behind you. You don't run too fast, and you keep them in a giant circle. Don't start killing any until all of them have spawned onto the map. Then just hit them with a couple well-placed grenades, and I got, let's see how many points I get. I got 250 points there, and a lot of them became crawlers. So just hit the same group with another grenade, and you should get plenty more points. Look at all those crawlers. You just hit them one more grenade, and that's easy 2,500 points. Boom. Right there, up to 3,000. I can buy Juggernaut and Quick Revive in one round before the game has even started. This is well worth it when you're playing on solo. In this part of the guide, I'm going to do my best to teach you everything I know about how to play solo. In my opinion, playing solo is the easiest and most fun way to play the map Moon. First of all, you're going to need to get Juggernaut. Okay, you might not need to, maybe you're a really good zombies player, but it's really easy to do off the spawn, and you know, it's worth having the extra advantage. Even though you might think you might need it or you want to save it for some reason, it just saves you having to teleport in a later round, and it's easy to do. Go ahead and check that out on the main menu if you haven't seen how to do that already. It's part of this guide. Basically, the next thing you should probably do is get Quick Revive. In solo, it's only 500 points, and it's basically a free life. It gets you up if you go down, so if you get unluckily trapped in a corner, you know, why not pay the 500 points and get a free revive? I'm not saying anyone actually, you know, if you're good, you don't maybe not need it, but it might not be worth, you know, getting Sleight of Hand or PhD Flopper. It might be worth getting those perks instead of Quick Revive. But on the early rounds, when you have a free perk spot, why not, you know, avoid getting unlucky? Another thing to note about Quick Revive, you can only get it 3 times, so do use it sparingly. I would say just use it in the first round because, you know, if you don't go down at all until a much later round, which is what happened to me here, you don't really have to worry about using up a perk slot or using up one of your lives. The first round shouldn't be a problem, but Quick Revive is there just in case you get unlucky. In the first couple rounds, knife and shoot. It's 5 or 6 shots in the first round and then 1 knife, and in the second round about 8 shots and 1 knife. You can do it whatever combination of shots you want. Just maximize your points in those 2 rounds when it's still really easy to kill the zombies. In the next couple rounds, I would say try to keep them in the barriers a bit more. It's still pretty easy to knife them. It's only 3 rounds on the third round. But if you don't get a max ammo, you know, maybe try to. What I usually do is I hold one of the windows shut, so I hold it shut and stand right next to it and just knife all the zombies that come up to it, and then I throw a nade at the other window, and you still get just about as many of the points in about as quick of a process. You know, just make sure that you watch out for the spaceman, and rounds 3 and 4 shouldn't be too bad. So right here I did get max ammo, but I actually kind of got overwhelmed, and basically you don't have to wait for a specific round to go. All you need is 5,250 points to get all the way from the spawn to the power room and get a stakeout. In my opinion, the stakeout is the best wall weapon to get right off the bat. But you know, if you prefer an M16 or an MPL, it's whatever. I actually think that an M16 and M16 and stakeout are much more worth it than an MPL. But hey, you know, if you're an MPL guy, sure. I don't think you should go really the other way, the PM63 route through Tunnel 11. Tunnel 6 really has much better wall weapons, and the PM63 route, Tunnel 11, really doesn't at all. Either both ways gets you to the stakeout, but if you don't like the stakeout, there's really not much of an advantage to going through Tunnel 11. I think Tunnel 6 is just a bit better because it has better wall weapons. That's really the only difference that it makes. Once you get a stakeout, once you're in the power room, it's really easy to sit in here for about a couple more rounds. It'll probably be really generous with power-ups during these rounds, and you don't really have to worry about ammo because it's right on the wall in the power room. Just build up enough points to get all the way through the laboratories and into the biodome, and you should be set. I actually got 3 death machines in 3 consecutive rounds while playing solo. So don't be surprised if you get a lot of death machines, and on later rounds you're actually not going to use those power-ups at all. You're actually just going to hack them for max ammo, so don't be afraid to get whatever power-ups you get off the spawn. There is a rumor that if you leave them, if you let them disappear, you'll get them back. For example, on Ascension or on Call of the Dead, you only got 20 power-ups for 25 rounds, or 20 max ammos for 25 rounds, or something like that. I don't know it exactly. But you only got a certain number of max ammos for a greater number of rounds. So there was a rumor that you could just let them disappear and you would get them back later. That is actually false, and I'm pretty sure they didn't change that in this map. So moving back onto the subject, once you get into the biodome, you're pretty much set for the rest of the game if you don't get unlucky or get stupidly trapped or whatever. Once you've played this enough, it really shouldn't be a problem until you get to like around 30 or 40. That's really when you should start encountering real problems. Basically, in these first couple rounds, just loop or get enough points with the stakeout. If the box isn't in the biodome, just last a couple more rounds, get a crawler, and hit it as many times as you feel necessary. Once you have enough points, you should be able to start hitting the box until you get a ray gun and a wave gun and whatever other third weapon you want, and buy all the perks. And then you're pretty much set. I would say to use the hacker while you're in the biodome if you're just going to loop strictly in the biodome. Use the hacker. It just has a huge number of advantages, like hacking power-ups. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. Once you get up to the higher rounds, like I'm at right now, you're going to need max ammos a lot more frequently. But thanks to the magic of the hacker, you can get one anytime a power-up spawns. For 5,000 points, you can hack a power-up, and anything but a max ammo turns into a max ammo. So on 35, on these higher rounds, you basically get a max ammo pretty much every round. Just be careful about going too close to it, because on this first power-up that I got in this round, I actually accidentally walked into it, and if you're on a really high round and you're desperate for ammo, messing up like that, even if it isn't insta-kill, you're low on ammo, that could be the end of the game for you. Ammo is a lot more important than an insta-kill or any other power-up that you can get on round 35. When you finally do have a power-up, just throw a Gersh, because you're going to get them back, hack whatever it is, and get the max ammo. If you just continue to do this and loop in this circle, or whatever looping strategy you want to use, check back on the main menu for more of that, but whatever looping strategy you want to use, you can continue that pretty much infinitely. In this game, I got lucky and the spaceman glitched out, so I just continued on the same loop in the biodome. But you can switch back and forth between the indoor and outdoor loops, whatever works best for you, and you should have no problem getting to higher rounds after a bit of practice. It does take a bit of luck, to get the right weapons right away and to get the Gersh device and get right power-ups. It is a combination of luck, but, it's still really easy to get to round 30, and once you get above round 30, that's when the real luck starts getting implemented. Other than that, solo should not be too much trouble. I hope this helped. This part of the guide actually took me something like 10 or 15 takes with the commentary. I wanted to get it right for you guys, and I still don't think it's perfect. I hope this helped a lot of you out. Please comment if it did, and remember to like and favorite the video. Thanks, guys. In this section of the guide, I'm going to be going over the basics of how to play zombies. So if you've clicked on this, you're probably a bit unfamiliar with it, or you want to just improve a little, and hopefully what I have to say will help you out with that. So basically, on Hangar 18, unless you're playing solo or two-player, I wouldn't try to go for Juggernaut. Just try to build up your points as long as you can, but when the second buzzer sounds and the zombies get faster, then you should probably just back up onto the teleporter to be safe. It's much more, it removes any risk of just going down, which is a problem we had at the beginning of this particular game. and so it's better to just get as many points as you can, but then back off. So in the first couple rounds, you're going to want to do what's called knifing and shooting. So in the first round, you can shoot them about 5 times and then knife them and still get 1 knife. You want to knife because it's 130 points to knife versus only 100 if you get a headshot. And the shooting will maximize your points by giving you an extra 50. On the second round, you can get a few more. Points. You can shoot 8 times and then knife. Now, there's a particular way that you're going to want to knife, whether they're inside of the barriers or not. You're going to want to knife and back up. Okay, so I was a little slow on it there, but you see how I just knifed right away and immediately backed up? This saves you the risk of getting double hit, because that can happen through the window like this. And you should try to, just watch out where the zombies' arms are, because if their arms stay out and you move close, you can actually be hit while they're grasping around like that. So especially when they're outside of the barriers, you can knife and back up. And once you're comfortable with this, start letting a few more of the zombies out of the barriers, and there's a higher chance that you'll be getting power-ups. You can have 1 player outside here down the stairs. If you have like 3 players or 4 players and you don't want to split the windows, have 1 player outside, and all the zombies spawn in either area of dirt that I'm looking at right now. And so basically it's easier for 1 or 2 players to just split those zombies, or you can have 3 players up in the thing and 1 player in the dirt, or all 4 up in the main room. Basically, it really is not a big deal where you have your players spread out, as long as you have all the windows covered. And if you open this first door, you have to make sure that you're careful to not let any zombies upstairs, because if that happens, all of a sudden the people upstairs get overwhelmed. It's not hard on the first few rounds to revive teammates. Just be very, very careful about where the zombies are and keep watching your back, and you should have no problem on the first few rounds. Knifing and shooting is probably the best thing you can do to maximize points and get out of the spawn area quickly. With 4 people, if you have them outside, you can probably go by around 3 or 4. What you want to be able to do is go through all of the doors and go straight through to the power room to get a stakeout right away. If you're more comfortable with the M16, that's fine. That works just as well. It's a bit cheaper too. But the reason the stakeout is more expensive is because it's just a one-shot kill, and up until around 9 or 10. I would say it's definitely worth the extra 300 points, and it's a better weapon. I would say always go through Tunnel 6 and turn on the power as soon as you can. The one advantage to not turning on the power right away is to get the Bowie knife, but that means you have to stay in the power room or in the laboratory for several rounds more until you have 3,000 points each, or more than that, just so you can open all the doors and get the Bowie knife. I would not say that getting the Bowie knife is worth it. By the time you build up the points with 3 or 4 players, it's really not that great of an investment. If you're playing solo and that's the strategy you want to take, sure. But when you're on 3 or 4 players and you're new to zombies, go and get a stakeout. I don't think you should ever go and turn on the power when you don't have enough points to get through the whole tunnel. The tunnels and the room with the MPL, those aren't really great places to camp. It can be done by more experienced players, but if you're new to zombies, I would say just get as soon as you can into the open spaces, which would be the power room, or stay out in the spawn area, and then go just in between the rounds and get straight to the power, turn on the power right away, and get that stakeout. That's basically the strategy you're going to need to use to survive the first couple rounds. After that point, you're gonna basically want to just go straight up into the biodome with all your teammates. The biodome and the little outdoor area are probably the 2 best places that you can loop on this map. So if you're new to zombies, you might want to check out how to loop on the main menu. There's an annotation that you can use to learn how to loop a bit more. But as long as if you have 4 people and you have some teammates who are competent, staying in the biodomes really shouldn't be too much of a challenge. You just gotta kind of split up the biodome and make sure you continue to check your back. If you're new to zombies, that's probably one of the most important ththings I would say. Even if you're not looping, you should always keep moving. You should never really stand still and pause to shoot. With a stakeout, you don't need to aim in. With the stakeout, you don't need to aim in at all, and with an MP5, you don't really need to aim in. And so those are some of the wall weapons that you're going to get off the spawn. Once you start getting weapons like that are a bit of a higher higher caliber, or the ray gun or something. Well, ray gun you don't need to aim in, but if you get, say you get a commando or Galil, you don't want to just hip fire it, so you can aim in. Just be careful about when you're aiming it in. Make sure that you're not just you're not waiting to aim in when there's still zombies spawning on the map, or you're not shooting where you're going to be surrounded. You want to make sure that you always have a clear amount of time and a brief amount of time that you're going to shoot, and a clear objective as who you're shooting at. You don't want to just kind of stand still and do like a rotation thing where you're trying to shoot all the zombies that are coming to you in one spot. That's just a recipe for disaster. Whereas if you keep moving and you have a good reaction time, if a zombie hits you from behind, it's really easy to dodge around it. So right now, I think we're starting to do the Easter egg, or we're trying to do the Easter egg. But if you have anything that you want to do between rounds, easiest place to get it is in an area with low gravity. So like the biodome, just lead a zombie in a circle and time a grenade for when you time a grenade and just hit the zombie like right in front of the zombie on the early rounds and on the zombie on the higher rounds, and you should have no problem getting a crawler. It takes a bit of practice, but once you get it down, it really shouldn't be too tough. So now, basically that's it for the basics to zombies. Basically, there's no real way that I can actually completely tell you how to play zombies. A lot of the time it's personal preference. It's learning and all that kind of stuff. It's going to take some practice. You can't just immediately hop on after watching this and get good. But, maybe if you apply some of these strategies, you'll know how to play zombies a little safer. It's not great when you see a zombies player who just sits in a corner and stands still and tries to shoot all the zombies, or someone who just gets down automatically, like by round 10, it's just too much to handle for them. What I would suggest, if you're really hurting to get better and this didn't help you out too much, get a team of 3 good players and have them help you out and let them and piggyback off of them until you kind of get the feel for what playing on higher rounds is like. It won't take too long. It's not hard to pick up on, but if you're having trouble at first, just try to focus on what are the best ways to get points, and then try to, if you can live through these early rounds, it really shouldn't be too hard for you to start getting better weapons right away and living through the higher rounds. The trick to the higher rounds is just not getting down, continuing to move. Well guys, that wraps it up for the beginners portion of this guide. I hope this was helpful. This is kind of the basics of how I know how to play zombies and how to live through the opening rounds. Once you start getting higher weapons, you're going to want to go to the looping sections or camping sections of the strategy guide. That'll help you learn about those and give you tactics for what you want to do for later rounds. Hope this was helpful. Comment if it was. I love to hear your feedback, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks guys. Well, there's not much to the ground control achievement. It's stopping all the excavators from breaching the base. It takes just a bit of luck, and I did it on solo. That's probably one of the easiest ways you can do it. 4-player might be easier because you have 4 Gershes. You're going to get 3 warnings, one at the very start of the round that tells you where the excavator is coming. Here's the first one.
Warning! Excavator on will cause decompression of tunneling weapons.
So that's your first warning, and basically at that point you got to realize you're going to have to go through this round a bit more quickly, and you're going to have to, by the end of this round, by the 3rd warning, you're going to have to be going. You're going to get another warning midway through the round probably.
Excavator Omicron will cause decompression of tunneling weapons.
And there's your 2nd warning. After that, you got to realize you're running kind of out of time. By the 3rd warning, you want to try to have a crawler.
Warning! Excavator Omicron will cause decompression of tunneling weapons.
You want to try to have a crawler and be mostly done with the round. If you're not done, what you can do is just use a Gersh device to stop most of the zombies and get there. If you're focusing only on getting this achievement, getting using all your Gersh devices really shouldn't be much of a problem. Basically, you're going to need to grab the hacker and run through the power room and the outdoor areas, but if you just sprint straight through, you shouldn't have a problem with the air. Really, unless you take your time and walk at a leisurely pace, you really shouldn't have any problem at all. So come up to it and find the terminal and hack it. If you're doing this,
Warning, excavator Amazon will cause decompression of tunnel 11 in 30 seconds.
if you want to try to be there by the 30-second warning, you want to try to be, or at least in the tunnel by the time you hear the 30-second warning. You want to be moving quickly, and if you wait too long, you might not be able to find the terminal and not be able to hack it in time. If you're looping, when you hear the 30-second warning, it's already too late. So hack the third one, the achievement will pop up, and there you go. That's how you do it.
Excavator Pi, control restored.
Just a few things that I would like to say about this achievement. It really takes luck, because sometimes what will happen is the excavator will come to the same location twice in a row or 3 times in a row. You're just going to have to try it a couple times, and eventually you get it. If you're doing it on 4-player, you just have one person who's using the hacker, and everyone can go with him and try to cover him. That's probably just as easy as doing solo. I just say solo because there's less zombies to kill in the lower rounds. So if you get all the excavators in those rounds, it really shouldn't be too hard to go through the round and then go at the end of the round. Just make sure that you don't kill the crawler, kill all of the zombies. You need to get a crawler if you're playing solo, otherwise you will run out of time and you probably will get swarmed if you go. If you need to use 2 Gershes to get it, like one to get the zombies out of your way and then the one while you're in the spawn area to hack the thing, go for it. Just, make sure that you have the ability to get back too. I would say it's safer to wait till the end of the round, or just do it with 4 people. So next I'm going to cover the 2 achievements, buy all perks in one game and get 3 pack-a-punched weapons. I don't really need any gameplay for this because it's really easy to explain and there's not really any point to wasting your time with recycled gameplay. Basically, for the buy all perks one, you can either complete the Easter egg, because at the end of it you're rewarded with all perks permanently for the rest of the game, that is, and the other way you can do it is just get the 4 main perks that you need, like Juggernaut, Sleight of Hand, and Mule Kick, and PhD Flopper or Quick Revive, whichever one you want to use. Get those 2, and then with 4 people, just hold the grenade or let a zombie hit you, a crawler hit you in between a round, and just go down and then go through with about 10,000 points and buy the remaining 4 perks. If you're looking to continue to play after you get this achievement, then I would suggest having maybe more like 20 to 30 to 25,000 points. So when you do go down with the important perks, you can, as soon as you pick up the new ones that you need for the achievement, you can just get yourself down again and go through and buy the important perks one more time and get right back into the action. For the 3 pack-a-punched weapons achievement, it's basically, there's nothing much to it. You just got to play for a while and survive, and then once you have enough points, just get Mule Kick and 3 good weapons and go and pack-a-punch them 1 teleport at a time. Unless you have the hacker, you can hack the pack-a-punch machine and put the cage around you, but if you want to play it safe, just teleport once per round and pack-a-punch 1 weapon every time you teleport. Any more than that, and you're risking getting overwhelmed. If you do want to risk it and get it right away, go ahead, hack the cage, or just throw a Gersh every time you pack-a-punch a weapon. It's probably a bit easier if you play strictly to get this achievement. Anyway, these are 2 of the easier achievements. You just got to be able to survive long enough to get enough points to buy all 3. So this is the One Giant Leap achievement, where you need to get yourself trapped in the receiving area and free yourself through resurrection. I'm also not showing any gameplay on this one just because it's very simple to explain and understand if you're playing strictly for this achievement. Basically, the receiving area is the area where you spawn after coming from Hangar 18. It's where you're teleported to, and resurrection is where you go down and die in the middle of a round, and then when the next round starts, you will reappear with just a pistol. So you need to play strictly for this achievement, because if you have anything that you don't want to lose, you do actually have to die to get this achievement. So if you have something you don't want to have anything you want to lose, you just want to be playing for this achievement. Basically, you're going to need to wait you're going to need to open only one tunnel, so tunnel 6 or tunnel 11, whichever way you prefer to go, and then wait and loop in the biodome or outside or survive, however way you want to. Wait until you hear the excavator is about to breach that tunnel that you opened. So once you hear the 60-second warning for that excavator to start drilling, whoever needs to get the achievement needs to go back to the receiving area and wait for it to begin drilling. You need to have at least one other teammate in the main area of wherever you were looping or surviving, and he needs to be holding a crawler. He or she needs to be holding a crawler so that the round doesn't end while you're going through into the receiving area. So you still have a crawler, and anyone who needs to get the achievement is in the receiving area. As soon as the excavator has started drilling, you will become trapped in the receiving area because the other tunnel will be closed, and that one will be blocked off by the giant drill. So simply dive off the cliff, kill yourself, and then have your teammate kill the crawler, and you'll respawn right away next round. And that's how you get the one giant leap achievement. Guys, if you thought that I should have included gameplay or I could have done this a better way, please let me know what it is in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if it's a good idea, I might consider adding it later in an unlisted video. In this part of the guide, I'm going to be covering how to get the Cryogenic Slumber Party achievement, which is to complete Richtofen's grand scheme. It's the first of the big two-part Easter egg. This is the first 4 steps on how to get Samantha to come out, and you're going to need a wave gun, not necessarily pack-a-punch, and I would suggest 3 or 4 people, each with ray guns, and 1 at least with Gersh devices. So basically, the first thing that you should know is that you need to have the excavator tunnel into tunnel 6, and start tunneling, and then you have to go to the spawn and stop it from excavating. This is actually part of the 3rd step, but you don't actually need to wait to complete the first steps for this to happen. So say this happens on round 4 and you haven't finished the first 2 steps, you can let it happen and you'll still be able to do the Easter egg. Okay, you don't have to. What we ended up doing is we did the first 2 steps first, and then thought that we had to wait until this had happened. When in reality, the excavator had come and started tunneling, or was going to start tunneling before we had completed those first 2 steps. We thought that we had to wait. You don't. That's just why I'm putting this first. So whenever the excavator comes to tunnel 6, let it tunnel in and start digging like so, and that will be one of the first things that you need to have done. Maybe it might not come right away. You can feel free to stop it if it comes to tunnel 11 or the biodome, but if it comes to tunnel 6 first, just go ahead and let it tunnel in and you'll be okay. You don't have to wait. The next step is playing Simon Says outside in the spawn area. There's a set of 4 computers over here. Just drop down here from the spawn area, and the computers are right over here. Basically, what you have to do is play Simon Says. The computer will display what colors each computer is right here. And then it'll tell you the first color right there. So basically just do that and listen to the colors and repeat each color. It's Simon Says. So I'm just going to let you watch now. Also, don't worry about messing up. You don't have to get it exactly right the first time. You can try it as many times as you want.
Get off of me, scumbag!
When you're finished, it'll flash like this. And probably list something about security being down. The next step is in the laboratory. You're going to need the hacker for this, and for the laboratories to have air still. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to get the hacker, and for 500 points, hack one of these buttons. It doesn't matter which one you hack first or when. Just hack the first button for 500 points, then go through the entire laboratory and look for these green terminals. After you hack the button, several of the terminals will light up with a green light on top. You've got to find all of them and hack them. It doesn't matter what order you do, just as long as you hack all of them. Once you've done that, you can head back up and hack the next button, but there will be a waiting time between when you press buttons. So basically, once you hack the first one, you might have to hack another one, but you cannot start hacking it right away. Wait about a minute and try again, and if it still hasn't allowed you to hack again, try pressing the buttons. Once you have all the buttons hacked, and it won't let you hack anymore, and you've hacked all the terminals, you've gone through the whole process, you just have to press all 4 buttons within 2 seconds of each other. So basically it doesn't, right now we have to hack another button and the glass is down, and when the glass pops back up, you can hack the next button and repeat the terminal process. Once you've done that 2 or 3 times, you'll have the ability to press the buttons. Just press them all within 2 seconds of each other. You don't have to have 4 people. You could even do it by yourself if you wanted to. Just press all 4 of them, and that'll be the second step of the Easter egg. The next step is this excavator part. So once the excavator, you need to have had the excavator tunnel into tunnel 6, and once that's happened, you've stopped it, there will be a black ball right here. It'll be a black egg thing. The characters will refer to an egg, and you just have to knife it and chase it through this tunnel right here. We've actually started doing this already, so I'm just catching up to Ryler, who's already started now. And the egg will be sitting right here eventually. So just knife it, and eventually what it'll do is it'll go back through these doors, and in a second you'll see it'll fly up. This is what the eggs looks like. It'll fly up onto this satellite right here, and this is what you need the wave gun for. So put together the wave gun and shoot it off of this satellite right here. Then what'll happen is it'll fly back around to tunnel 11, and you have to chase it back through the next tunnel. So you might not be able to see it, but it did fly over to the door at tunnel 11, so you'll need to pay through all of these doors. If you haven't bought them already, you could, I suppose, use the hacker. It might take a bit longer. But see, we're following the ball again. It goes through the PM63 room. It stops right here. Goes again, and through this door. And this is part where some people get lost. It'll stop right up there. So basically just shoot that little angled part right there, and it'll fly out again. And someone hit it, and it moves. Now at this point we actually lost it because we weren't paying close enough attention, but yeah, so you'll see us looking for it, and just be careful to watch where it goes and watch out for your crawlers. So what we did is we had trouble finding it first, so we were trying to shoot to find it, and we thought it was in this room, and we ended up actually turning all our brightness all the way up, and that actually does help if you're having trouble find it. Just go down to brightness and turn it all the way up, and it should make it slightly easier to see. So now that we have the brightness up, we continue to look, and in a second I think we find it. Just bear with me. It will be sitting right on the barrels right here. So just shoot it or knife it, whichever one, and it'll go into the power room and up onto the pyramid. It'll sit in the center of that little plus-like formation. We killed the spaceman, so the next part of the Easter egg will be easier. So now it's gone, and it's sat up into that little circle thing, and this tube has come up. And this is the next part of the Easter egg. You have to kill zombies near this tube and fill it up with this blue, weird, glowing liquid. And there's their egg right there. So next part of the Easter egg is, like I said, just camp down by the pyramid and fill up the tube with basically zombie life force. And once that's happened, you can unlock Samantha. So basically, you're just going to watch us go through this whole killing process. What we did is we had 3 people. So we had 2 people sit down by the pyramid, and 1 person sit up in the biodome as a backup. And they had Gerst devices just in case we went down. We wouldn't all be trapped in the same area. We had a backup. So we made the mistake of killing the zombies too far away. When they're loners like this and they're rather isolated, let them get closer to the tube. And like sometimes if you kill them over there, they won't actually go into the tube. So wait till they get closer and just shoot them and last this part out. So I'm just going to let you watch how we went through it. And as you can see, because of low gravity, the ray gun is really effective for this because the splash damage is really high. Those zombies actually didn't go into the tube because we were killing them too far away. Just be sure that you're killing them closer to the tube. We made that mistake the first time. When you do it, you'll hear a little hissing noise when the blue gel is filling up, when the life force goes in. It'll make it it'll make it really obvious when the zombies are going into the tube and when they're not. One easy way to do this, if you have Gerst devices, is throw a Gerst device right next to the tube, and it'll actually draw all the zombies to it, and all the zombies that get killed by the Gerst device will go into the tube. So here we got about the 3/4 of the way through when the last zombie came around, and we had to actually go through another round. So you'll see that happen in a second, and when it finally fills up, I will show you what to do. And this is a spoiler alert But you know, if you don't want to see Samantha, just as soon as you see me pull the lever, just you can close out of the guide or go skip ahead to the next section. So once you've filled up the thing,
It's full. Now what?
maybe you heard Dempsey say it's full. Once you fill it up, you should be ready to just last the rest of the round if you had to go to another round, and you'll be ready to finish this part of the Easter egg. So I skipped ahead here just to show you that, you know, we had to continue to survive the round out. And once you're finished, pull this lever right here, and you'll be done with the cryogenic slumber party. If you don't want to see Samantha, go back to the main menu now. When you get Samantha, you actually get death machines for 90 seconds instead of the usual 60 seconds. So if this is your second time doing the Easter egg, I would say just, you know, what you should do is probably just have everyone head up to the teleporter, then hit the lever and run back as fast as you can. If you use the machines, the death machines rather, in the spawn area in Hangar 18, you can actually rack up a lot of points. So if you're short on points, that's a really easy way to build it up. So guys, that's it for the cryogenic slumber party, but there is a whole nother even longer step to this Easter egg, process to this Easter egg. So go ahead and wait till the next section starts, or go back to the menu to go through that. It's actually even more interesting than this. In this next part of the guide, I'll be telling you how to get the secret achievement, Big Bang Theory, on the map Moon. You're going to need Gersh devices, randomizer grenades, and probably 4 people, and you'll need to have completed the Samantha part of this Easter egg, or cryogenic slumber party. You also absolutely need a Richtofen player, someone playing as Richtofen, who has gotten both the Call of the Dead and the Shangri-La Easter eggs. It will not work. This achievement will not be possible for you if you do not have someone playing as Richtofen who has both of those achievements. We tried it with someone who didn't have both of them, and it did not work. First step of the Easter egg for Big Bang Theory, throw a grenade over there to break the glass on this little rack area, and then throw a Gersh between the ceiling and the little squares you see there. I actually missed. But it will go off if you hit it in the right spot, and these 2 octagonal plates will appear on the teleporter right there. Just back up and send them back to the spawn. Next, they'll be right here next to the quick revive, and you need a randomizer grenade. We finally got one after a couple more rounds from the box, and throw it at the plates, and they'll be teleported onto this little computer on the opposite side of the room. So they disappeared, and they come over here onto this computer. Next, you need to find the wire, which is about a 2-foot long gray wire that goes between the computer and the plates machine. We found it in the laboratory. It's usually in the lab. It looks just like that. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Then just have Richtofen put the V device with the focusing stone into the area between the plates, and have him start typing by pressing X.
Is a liar. I'm not, but that's why no one would get it.
It will feed you a bunch of secret information about the storyline that I cut out for, you know, just for time purposes, and then you'll hear.
She is just a little girl, Edward. She doesn't even know what she's doing.
Und delete.
Once that's happened, the machine should turn green, and you should be able to pick up the Richtofen should be able to pick up the charged V device. Just point at it and hold X.
It's mine! Finally, it's mine!
Next, head back to the room with the pyramid and have Richtofen go up to the pyramid and hold X. He shouldn't put the thing in. I don't think that'll put it in, but it'll bring up these 4 tubes. They may actually just come up when you get close. So next is similar to step 4 of the previous Easter egg or cryogenic slumber party. You need to fill up all 4 tubes with zombie life force. What we did is we just kind of let the first opening zombies, who were kind of loners and isolated, come up to the 2 front little pipes. We focused on those front 2 ones first, and then we had 2 people on each side of the pyramid just filling up the first front 2 pipes. We waited. We had to spend most of this round getting the front two, but after the end of round 20, we were able to fill up the back two. Just focus on them two at a time. Make sure everyone has a ray gun, and throw Gersh devices next to the pipes just to accelerate the process. But remember, one person will need to save a Gersh device for the very last step of the Easter egg. So now we finished the front two, and we'll move on to the next round very shortly, where we will back up slightly and fill up these back two tubes. This is us filling up the back two tubes. It's actually not that as bad as you would think. Even on round 20, the zombies are still fairly easy to kill right here, and you'll probably get a decent amount of power-ups. Throughout this, you'll hear Samantha rumbling loud, fearful. Oh, think about what you've done, all that kind of crap. When you finished, you'll hear. Then all you have to do is live out the round. Once you're finished and you have a crawler, have Richtofen put the device in, and it should drain the tubes and finish the device, and it'll merge Samantha and Richtofen, or at least that's what I think happens. Then his voice will change. Have a listen. You'll know it works when Richtofen's voice changes, and when the zombies all have blue eyes. Then you'll hear this message from Dr. Maxis.
If you free me, I will help you minimize the damage that he will inevitably cause.
Next, you have to go out to the Simon Says machine and play Simon Says 3 more times, and it will increase in difficulty each time. Basically, once you've done that, it'll bring up each time you play will bring up each individual missile that you'll need for the last part of the Easter egg. This is us playing the very first time, and it got progressively harder. The first missile comes up right to the left that you'll see as soon as we conclude this game. Keep in mind that the combinations you see here are not the exact same ones that you'll get. It's completely random. It's easy if you just have someone else watching and backing you up. You could even have someone like writing it down as you go. Every time you complete it, it'll flash green like that, and a missile will come up. Once you've finished, you'll hear a quick message from Dr. Maxis.
Good. Now that I am in control of the station, we have one last chance to sever Edward's link with Earth. I will calculate the position. Retrieve the artifact and take it to the launch platform.
Next, just go back to the pyramid room, have someone throw a randomizer grenade straight at the where the little ball is from the earlier step. It'll teleport it back to the Simon Says machine, which you'll see in a moment.
Looks like I am about to die. Click, click.
It sits right here next to the Simon Says machine. Then all you have to do is throw a Gersh straight at the device, straight at the ball, and it'll send it up to wherever Maxis is, or if he's dead, I guess his brain in a jar, or however it is he's alive. You'll see the ball teleporting up to him now, and that'll complete the Easter egg. Guys, that gets you the achievement, and that's all there is to it. Then it'll launch, and you get to see for yourself. I actually cut it off here in the guide, but if you're following my guide, and it should be successful. Just let me know, and I don't want to spoil the whole ending for you, but basically it's pretty awesome, and you get all 8 perks plus a 100 gamer point achievement. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if this helped you, if this was useful, if I got something wrong, and I'll be sure to fix it. I really appreciate all your guys' support and views, and this took a very long time to finally get this down. Just to show you, once you finish it, you'll get all 8 perks. You'll go, and you can keep them even when you go down, or if you die completely, you come back with all 8 perks. So once you have all these perks, it's actually probably a good time to complete the One Giant Leap achievement. It makes it much easier to recover from dying, and you can check that out on the main menu. Once again, thanks for watching.